Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 233. Volkswagen is testing a new start in China with a new operating system. And Tesla is still dominating the EV sales in Europe in the first half of 2024. And Tesla held their Q2 earnings call, and there was a lot of nice surprises. And we also got Ford's earnings calls, and they are still losing a lot of money on EVs. And Ford is also backtracking on their EV plans in Europe, and LG is getting closer on making the 4680 sales. Tesla has released their full self-driving version 12.5, and it seems to be a step change in capabilities. And we got a lot of cool Cybertruck news this week as well, and Tesla keeps closing the gap in China with the best start to a quarter ever. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Volkswagen is testing a new start in China with a new operating system. Volkswagen software is considered difficult to sell in China. From 2026, the carmaker will be giving the ID models their new operating system with the help of its partner XPeng. But I think Stecker Auto on X nailed this one on how Volkswagen is approaching the software problems they are in. In China, Volkswagen is cooperating with XPeng, China Electronic Architecture, Horizon Robotics for autonomy, Thunder Software for infotainment system, all under CARIAD leadership. In the US, Volkswagen is starting a software cooperation with Rivian. Internally, they expect a common Volkswagen Rivian OES within 36 months. And Stecker Auto's 2 cents is, how on earth is this going to work? Instead of creating a unified, holistic electronics and software architecture in-house, Volkswagen is starting a number of disparate projects and approaches. In my opinion, the exact opposite of how to get out of this mess they're in. Exactly. Volkswagen doesn't know how to make software, and it's not a software company. They don't understand how to make this work like we saw back in the days with CARIAD. They thought buying a software company and putting 5,000 software engineers on the job of an operating system is how you solve it. And it ended up being a big disaster. A small, dedicated group of skilled software engineer would have been the way to go. And now Volkswagen just keeps piling on projects on top of each other, making it more and more complicated for themselves. I think Volkswagen is heading for a big mess that it will be very difficult to get out of. It will take a long time to get all of this to work and clean up the mess they have made, and time is one of the things that the old legacy automakers don't have. Also because they move so slow. I don't think Volkswagen will have something competitive before it's all over. But let's see how it all plays out. And just a quick shout out to Native. That is not a sponsor of this video, but I do have an affiliate link down below because I really want to become an advocate for this awesome product. Native's next generation thermal base layers features a 3D printing in the weave, creating a seamless, high ventilated, light and ultra flexible fabric with millions of small holes. It is so flexible and light that you barely feel it, offering complete freedom of movement without resistance. Designed to move moisture away from your skin, it covers your body without compromising movement or comfort. The ventilated marine wool, enhanced with 3% antibacterial silver, is odor-free and made from 100% recycled materials. I wore it for a week in Finland without any odor or thermal discomfort. I even had it with me to China for our trip into the mountains for Best in Tech.
Also works in China.
Made entirely in Italy, Native ensures sustainability by using recycled materials and offer end-of-life recycling. I highly recommend Native for outdoor enthusiasts like myself who want perfect thermal regulation. If you're interested, there is a link down below, and use the discount code LAST20 to get 20% off your order. Enjoy! And EVs might have had a difficult start in 2024 in Europe because the biggest market, Germany, stopped their EV incentives. So as I talked about before, this will of course affect the whole market when the biggest boy does this. As a result of this, Europe is the slowest region of growth for electric vehicle sales so far this year, as the EVs only grew 1% in Europe so far in the first half of 2024. So Germany fell by 9% in the first half of 2024 versus 2023. But sales in France and the United Kingdom has increased by 8 and 13% respectively. So we can see that Germany is really one of the biggest dragger on the EV adoption in 2024 here in Europe, but that should not come as a surprise as they stopped EV incentive back in December of last year. But globally, we are seeing that EVs are up 20%, so not down as so many mainstream keep saying. EVs are not down, they are up 20%, and BEVs are still 65% of all plug-in sales. So no, the plug-in hybrid has not taken over either. BEVs are still the biggest player and still growing. But even though EVs are not growing very fast in Europe in the first half of 2024, Tesla is nonetheless still the best-selling EV brand in Europe and also have the two best-selling EV models in the first half of 2024. Tesla's Model Y was still the best-selling EV by far on the continent with a little over 100,000 units registered, a 26% drop from last year. But the refreshed Model 3 ranked second with 38% increase in registrations. So Tesla is still dominating the market in Europe, and we can see that number 3 is, as expected, Volvo with their very nice EX30. It was in close competition with the Model 3 in the beginning of the year, switching between number 2 and number 3, but it seems like Tesla's Model 3 has pulled away as Tesla has a bigger production volume than Volvo. And number 4 is the popular Chinese MG4 that is still doing great in Europe. And then at place number 5, we finally have a European automaker with Volkswagen and their ID.4. As Volvo, of course, today is also a Chinese company. Another Chinese company we are still waiting for to get some real traction in Europe is BYD. Their best-selling EV in Europe is still the Atto 3, and it still is nowhere near the top 20 in Europe. But we are seeing BYD spending a lot of money on advertising here in Europe at the moment, as they were one of the main sponsors of the European Championship in football, or soccer for you Americans. So they are definitely trying all they can with advertising to ramp up their sales in Europe. But still a long way to go to get into the top 20 models. They don't even have a model in the top 40. But let's see if their millions of dollars spent on advertising for their soccer championship will help them sell more cars in the second half of 2024. But Tesla, that don't do much advertising, is still dominating in Europe, and the European automakers is having trouble keeping up. And Tesla held their Q2 2024 earnings call, and there was a lot of nice surprises. I did make a whole video about it, so if you want to dive deeper, check that out, but here are some of the highlights. Tesla made record revenue in Q2 2024 despite lower deliveries thanks to the growth in other businesses. The key points from their earnings call is that the operating cash flow was $3.6 billion. Their war chest added $3.9 billion to a total of $30.7 billion in the bank. Energy storage was 9.4 gigawatt hours deployed. Regulatory credits revenue was $890 million, doubling from Q1 of this year, Q4 of last year, and a total of $1.332 billion year to date. So competitors have now given Tesla nearly $9 billion since Q3 2018 through regulatory credits. Well, Tesla thanks you. And automotive revenue was down 7% year over year, but energy business revenue was up 100% to over $3 billion. And this is just the beginning. And the new Megapack factory is set not to double but triple Tesla's Megapack output. And service and others was also up 21%, and Q2 revenue was a beat with 2% higher than Q2 of last year. And some Cybertruck highlights as well. It was the best-selling EV pickup truck in the US in Q2. Sorry Ford, you don't longer have the best-selling EV pickup truck. Your pickup truck is not built tough compared to the Cybertruck, and the Cybertruck is the most American made. Production of the Cybertruck tripled and are on track for profitability by the end of this year. Another slap in the face of legacy automakers. And over 50% more 4680 sales produced in Q2 than in Q1. Insane growth in just one quarter. And we also got confirmation that the new affordable models are to start production in the second half of 2025, and Tesla's full self-driving software gains traction with increased take rates. Optimus robot is performing tasks autonomous in the factories, and production is to start by 2025. And the Dojo supercomputer development is progressing well, and Elon confirmed they are doubling down on Dojo because of the insane demand there is for Nvidia's chips. And one more very important thing, Tesla is seeking approval to get full self-driving version 12.4 or 6 to Europe. Yes please. As he said at the earnings call, Tesla will request regulatory approval for full self-driving supervised 12.4 or 12.6 in Europe, China and other countries. Very nice. Elon Musk says Tesla is likely to receive this approval by the end of the year, so that would be awesome if we get version 12.4 by the end of this year or start of next year. I think this is still much faster than most people thought it would come to Europe with all our regulations, so that is very cool. But Tesla's strong performance in Q2 adds nearly $4 billion to its reserves, positioning it to continue its leadership in EVs, energy storage and AI development. What an exciting company to follow. And we have talked about Ford delivery numbers before, but now we also got the earnings, and Ford missed expectation by a large margin. Ford posted Q2 2024 automotive revenue of $44.8 billion, up 6% and beating projections. Overall revenue, including Ford financial units, reached $47.81 billion. Meanwhile, net income was only $1.8 billion. And one reason Ford is having problem with earning money at this point is that they are losing a lot of money on their EVs. Ford's EV volume was down 23%, EV revenue was down 37%, Q2 EV EBIT margin a negative 99.5%. Ford Model E unit lost another $1.1 billion in the second quarter. Ford's EV losses reached $2.5 billion through the first half of 2024. The higher losses are due to lower volume and industry-wide pricing pressure. So, what Ford is trying to say there is that because Tesla can sell their EVs cheaper than Ford and can still earn money on them, Ford is really stuck between a rock and a hard place. And we do also see that Ford is also backtracking on their EV target, just as we heard from GM last week. Ford has reversed on its plan to sell only electric vehicles in Europe from the end of this decade, the chief operating officer of its EV division has said. He said that 2030 was too ambitious, as he confirmed that the company would continue offering new hybrid cars in Europe beyond that date. Sure, but that will be pretty irrelevant, as already next year the utility factor of the hybrids will go down together with stricter emission targets here in Europe, and they will do that again with the utility factor in 2027 and 2030. So by 2030, making hybrids in Europe will not help them much to get to their EV targets in Europe. So if they are not aiming for 100% EVs in Europe in 2030, I think they are aiming to fail. But let's see how all of that plays out. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. So, we are seeing more and more videos of Tesla's version 12.4 out in the wild, and even though it of course still makes mistakes, the overall theme seems to be the same. That this is really a step change in driving capabilities and how smooth it is driving. Like this one that Tesla shared on X, the Delicacy Full Self-Driving 12.5 has with the steering wheel is seriously next level. Hard to get across on video, but this is already smoother than any Uber driver I've ridden in. And we see so many comments on 12.5 that it was so much better than 12.4, so 12.5 might have been delayed about a month or so, but it really seems to deliver on the capabilities it promised. So with the ramp of full self-driving miles and computer power we are seeing at Tesla, I can hardly see how people can still be pessimistic about Tesla solving this within the next 12 months or so. But there will always be some who won't believe it until they sit in a full self-driving car themselves. And speaking of all the nice drives with full self-driving version 12.5, we also saw Tony Doohan write on X. Lots of hard work and many late nights went into making full self-driving 12.5. From across the team, many ideas were simplified and reworked from first principle. Hope everyone have a chance to try it out. It's a release we're proud of. Nice. And we did also see Dirty Tesla start his full self-driving Tesla from inside his garage and driveway, and then it went out on a dirt road, and as he rode, he didn't take over before he got to work. And as you can see in the video, the Tesla is just looking for drivable space, as we talked about before, and it does that very beautifully. No one else on the planet has a car that can do this. And Elon shared on X. Starlink now operating on over 1,000 aircraft. Using Starlink on a plane feels like you have high-speed ground fiber connection. Very nice. And we have also just learned that XAI has just turned on the world's most powerful AI training cluster in the world. And Elon also said in an interview this week that they had put it up in 90 days, and that is the fastest AI clusters like this has ever been put up. Yes, the pace of innovation is all that matters, and Tesla just move at the speed of thought, as Sandy Munro used to say, and Elon also wrote, this is a significant advantage in training the world's most powerful AI by every metric by December this year. So I think there is a good chance that Croc will be ready for a little demonstration by the end of this year, and this may be inside the Optimus robot, and this also just shows how much Elon's companies are pouring into AI at the moment. As we know, Tesla is also building a supercomputer at the Texas factory as we speak. And we continue to hear more stories about how EVs are just so much better, and the true cost of ownership also makes them the cheapest option. As South Pasadena Police Department said about their new Tesla Model Y police cars.
Tesla was not only a viable option, but it was the best option. We got a much better performing car that cost significantly less to maintain and fuel. Our admin fleet in the first year had absolutely no maintenance associated with it. Probably the biggest cost savings variable is cost of energy, way less than what we're paying in California for a gallon of gas. So when you look at the entire package, again, it became not only a viable solution, became the best solution as well.
But they are not the only police department getting Tesla as police cars. The Irvine Police Department announced that it will get the Tesla Cybertruck police vehicle outfitted by Unblock Performance. Yes sir, now that is the perfect police car, and I think many will follow in the years to come. So what Larry Ellison talked about back in September in 2023 is coming true. The Cybertruck police car. And Unblock Performance also made this little but awesome video of the Cybertruck. Yeah, there is just no getting away from the Cybertruck no matter where you go. And we got some more China insurance number for Roland, and as we can see, Tesla is still ahead of the last 4 quarters here in Q3 with the first 3 weeks of sales. And we are only year-to-date down 2.8% now. Last week it was 3.7%, and the week before that it was 4%. So Tesla continues to execute in China and close the gap to last year. And if this continues, we can expect Tesla to actually beat last year's numbers. And we saw the Cybertruck in a tractor pull event this week, and it came in second out of 17 participants, only losing out to a modified Power Stroke engine, but beat all other stock trucks. Yep, the Cybertruck is a beast on a whole new level. And speaking of the Cybertruck pulling power, we did see this advertising for Fortnite that is now bringing the Cybertruck into the game. Nice little free advertising for Tesla to millions of users around the world. But we also get another drag race between Cybertruck and the Ford Raptor R in a quarter-mile race. And the Ford Raptor got left in the dust, literally. And we also saw the Cybertruck powering a food trailer with its 240-volt bed outlet. And as Nick wrote on X, a game changer, no more noise and smelly generators. Yes, EVs for the win. And Lucid CEO was out rambling again. Peter Rawlinson said, "We got more range than anyone else with just an 88 kWh pack. Now an 85 kWh pack from 2025, which is smaller, lighter, much less costly than the competition, and that is why we can offer Lucid Air Pure cheaper than Tesla." Well, when you lose about $500,000 on every EV you sell, you can't really come out claiming you can sell your EVs cheaper than Tesla, as your EVs should cost more than $500,000 if Lucid should actually earn money on them. If Tesla reduced their selling price of the Model S to $0, they would still lose less money per vehicle sold than Lucid. So more claims from Lucid CEO that is not really grounded in reality. And another year, another chart showing that Teslas are the cheapest car on the planet to maintain. And we can see all the German premium brands down there in the bottom as some of the most expensive to maintain. And during LG Energy Solutions Q2 2024 conference call, Battery Planning and Management Director stated that the company's 46 battery line in the Oaken factory has been prepared, as noted in an E-Today Korean report. However, he also stated that while LG has been looking to start 4680 production earlier than expected, mass production should begin in late Q3 or Q4 as initially planned. The LG plant is expected to have an initial production capacity of 8 gigawatt-hours of 4680 cells annually, which should be enough to supply 110,000 electric vehicles. Tesla is, of course, expected to be among the recipients of these batteries. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest supporters of this channel. My new YouTube members, Jeff Huntington, Rick Peters, Texas Geek 83, Yungton McGuinness, something like that, Rodney L. Wright, and my new Patreon producer, Raphael Filippi. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys, all the producers of this news show, thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun.
Hey, son. Bruce Wayne, how you doing today? Can I see your pilot's license? I'm gonna need you to step out of the car for me.
That is all we have time for in this news show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research, charts and spreadsheet also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.